Good morning. This is Margaret Fetty at the University of Sewing at the Tailored Fit, and we're here at Facebook Live. And if you've been following us at all, you know that Fridays are all about Bernina and, of course, Bernette. So I don't want to leave them out. Bernette is the baby sister of the Berninas, and they are kind of the machines that if you're just learning how to sew, you're trying to figure out all this, and you want to get into a good basic machine, Bernettes are a wonderful machine. So we're going to talk today about Bernettes, we're going to talk about Berninas, and we have some wonderful sales for you. Do you sew clothing? We've got the machines for you. Do you like to do quilting? We've got the machines for you. So what I'm going to do today is we're going to start off with reminding you, you can always go on our website. Our website is universityofsewing.com, and you can find out prices and details of all of our machines. The other thing you can do is if you're not local, we ship all over the country. Guess what we had this past week? An order from Hawaii. How cool was that? So we ship all over the country. And so if you're looking for wonderful Stoff knits, I'll bet we have some of the biggest collection in the country on Stoff knits. We've got 54 bolts in our store. So if you like really good quality knits and you like to make clothing, I suggest you look at the Stoff knits because they're amazing. We also carry a wide variety of Robert Kaufman products. And so we carry denims and linens and knits, all from Robert Kaufman, and I've been very impressed with their quality also. So we have a lot of quilting fabric, but we also have a lot of apparel fabric. And I want to make sure that if you are a clothing sewer that you knew that, because a lot of places aren't carrying those anymore. There's a lot of places that sell just exclusively quilting things, but I wanted you to know that as far as sewing goes, we're trying to be more inclusive of both of our apparel and our quilters. So let's get started talking about the wonderful sewing. Today is National Overlocker Month. We're still in April, so National Overlocker Month. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. This is what I was going to look for. So we have a great big sale going on with our overlocker products. Now, if you already own an overlocker, and maybe you're not totally happy with it, maybe it's been a struggle for you, and you haven't liked it, or maybe it's sitting in your closet, we're getting ready to offer a couple of classes on overlockers, and one of the classes we will be offering this summer is going to be to get that overlocker out of your closet and see if you want to try that out and learn how to use it. So we're going to do that. But if you don't own an overlocker and you're starting to sew clothing, and I know a lot of people are in that particular position, right now is a wonderful time to get into an overlocker. Now, if you're looking for basics, the Bernette line is pretty wonderful. They start off at actually $502, which is this little Bernina Fun Lock over here. It's a cover stitch machine exclusively, and it's only $502 during the sale. If you're looking for just a basic serger, we've got this cute little Fun Lock 44, and it's only $525. These are 25% off. That's why they're such great prices right now. If you want a combo machine to go back and forth between your cover stitch and your serger all in one product, this Bernette B48 Fun Lock is a really nice, inexpensive way to do that. You're in this machine for only $891. They come with onboard tools. They have very good diagrams of how to thread them. But remember, if you buy a machine from us, and you buy a Bernette from us, we give you lessons on how to thread it and how to use it. So don't feel like you're going to be left all on your own if you want to go ahead and buy one of these kind of machines right now, even at this very inexpensive price point. But what I did want to point out to you, and we're going to have to go over that way, Dave, because we've got an air locking Bernette serger. And this air locker has some features that do not come in any other Bernina. It has a knee lift. How amazing is that? So it's kind of acts like a third hand. It's all onboard tools, just like you see on the other Bernettes. So all of your tools are in here. But the nice thing about this is your loopers are threaded via air, so that you don't have to stand on your head and try to figure out how to do that. This also comes with a free arm, but it comes with this extended table you see it with right now. This is a great, great product, and it's really amazing that it is only $1,312 right now. It's 25% off also. These prices are only available for the next week. After the at the end of April 30th, which is next Friday, these sales prices are gone. So if you are in any kind of market for a budget serger or a cover stitch machine, these Bernettes are a great deal. So we're going to go over here though, and some of you aren't going to be happy unless you have a Bernina. Well, if you're on a budget and you're looking at a Bernina, these are a great place to start. And what we've got right here is the 450 Bernina serger or the 460 Bernina serger. And you might wonder, is it worth it to spend the extra money on a 460? Well, let me tell you what the 450 has and what the 460 has, and then you can make up your own mind. So the 450 right now during this sale is only $1,039. Like the 460, it comes with your onboard tools. So your onboard tools, it's got the wonderful diagram on how to use it. And one of the really wonderful things about the Bernina sergers is that you can open this up and see everything. This is wonderful. It creates more light for you to see things. It's got a little, this sounds really silly, but this is a really cool thing. This right here is a little foam pad that you can put your needles in. And I will tell you what, when you're switching from one needle or two needles and you want a place to put that needle, it's so handy to have that. So what is the story? Why is there such a big difference in price? Well, for starters, this particular machine only has an AC motor, and the 460 has a DC motor. Now, the reason that's important is the AC motor is not as robust of a motor as the 460 has in it. Now, that doesn't mean this isn't a good machine. I like this machine a lot. It's very good quality, and if you want a Bernina and you want to stay in a budget, this is a great machine. But with the 460, what you'll get is a DC motor, which means that it comes with the traditional Bernina foot that you can use the kickback. And the kickback is where you hit the back of the heel, the needles go down into your fabric. That you can do that with the 460. You cannot do that with the 450. There is no knee lift with the 450. The 460 has that. So those are a couple of the real big reasons why the price difference. So they both have identical warranties, and if you're, you have to make a decision what you think is important. And I think that either one of these machines are going to be a wonderful choice if you're in a budget, you want to keep in your budget, and you just want a serger for occasional use. You're going to like these machines a lot. And again, you buy a machine from us, we go ahead and give you classes on this. And one of the really cool things about this machine is these come available, excuse me, let me start back over again. We have a bunch of different feet that can be used for accessories with this. It's got a multi-purpose foot. This multi-purpose foot, when you see this, what it can be used for is you can use it to install zippers. You can use it to install beading or sequins. So that's what the multi-purpose foot is. A lot of people don't know what these feet are for. So I just thought I would cover a little bit about what they're good for. We have a gathering foot that is available for the 450 or 460. So if you've already got it, then you may be interested to know that we have these. The gathering foot what you can do with this is set it up so that you'll gather one set of fabric and then the other fabric will be flat. So this foot makes that a lot easier. Then what we've got are blind stitch feet. And the blind stitch feet, you can do a blind stitched hem in 2 different widths on this. So we've got a 0.5 millimeter and a 0.1 millimeter. So these are really nice. Excuse me, I said 0.1, it's actually 1.0. So those are available for you. The other thing that you can also do with this machine is it's got a decorative spool pin. So if you want to do decorative stitching, this is available for your machine. The last one to make mention of, and I think is really important, is the elasticator foot. This is a foot that what it'll do is it'll actually stretch the elastic for you. And if you've ever tried doing elastic with a serger, you know that it can be kind of complicated sometimes to pull that elastic and to be able to attach it to something. This foot really helps in doing that. So if you know how to use a serger and you're thinking about upgrading, by the way, we do trade-ins. Did you know that? We do trade-ins. So we'll trade in your old serger and you can get one of these newer sergers and you are going to really like them. These are pretty easy to thread, but again, they're not air sergers. So they're not the air threaders. So what I wanted to make sure that you knew is that we also have these wonderful L890s and L850 that are air threading on the Bernina line. And I'll show you those in a minute, but I want to make sure you know about a couple of other products we have. One, we have the Big Book of Serger, or serging, and the Big Book of Serging is in reference to your L450, your L460, and the 850 and 890 machines. So that's what this is for. It's really wonderful because it shows you how to set up those machines and to be able to do just like we have with the Big Book of Feet for our other Bernina machines, Big Book of Machine Quilting, things like that. This is on our sergers. I have been asked to show you something, and we're getting ready to go talk about the Cadillac machines, those 2 air threading sergers that Bernina's come out. And what I want to point out to you is when you're thinking about these machines and what you would spend on them and how much you're gonna love them, I want you to remember that we have men in our lives who buy things they enjoy too. And most of the time, our things that we buy are not quite as expensive as their toys. So if you look at this little sign I've got, it shows a boat or a truck or the four-wheelers and what they compare to our sewing machines. Now, that might be funny, but it's really true. A lot of times we women are really worried about how much money we're spending on something like this, yet our men seem to just not worry about that bass boat at all. So I want you to think about this for a minute. You know, life is short, things go wrong, and don't you deserve to have the tools and the toys? I guess you could call it a toy, but I feel like these are tools, and I feel like they're things that give me great joy. And I used to not think about this I didn't think about it from the perspective of how much joy I got from these things and how often I use them. So if you're using your sewing machine every day and you're using your serger daily, don't you want one that's not going to aggravate you? You know, one of the most wonderful things about Bernina products is they don't aggravate us. They work. They work consistently. We don't have to have them in the shop all the time. I mean, it's just an amazing thing to think about. I think about some of the machines I had in the past. And now, if there's a problem with my machine, the other night I was struggling with something I was working on. It was strictly, I was tired and I needed to put my project down. And had I done that, all the problems I had wouldn't have happened. If I wouldn't have been tired, that would have been that was the whole problem. It wasn't the machine, it was me. So what I can tell you very often is that with Bernina products, if we're struggling, maybe we're tired, maybe we need to set the project down for a little bit, go off, have a cup of tea or a glass of wine and just relax and go back to it after we've had a chance to focus again. And it really is oftentimes the only thing that's wrong with it, with our machines. So we're going to go back and we are going to talk about the L850 is our serger, and the L890, that is our wonderful cover stitch serger combination. And look at back here, we have this wonderful room that we have set up so that we can demonstrate to you sewing machines, we can demonstrate to our sergers, and this right here is my favorite beauty. This is our L890, and I will have to tell you, I've been sewing on this a lot. And I think we told you the last time we were here, Dave and I are getting married. And guess what I did most of my sewing on to do part of my wedding dress? It was this machine. And this machine has just been such a wonderful machine and such a love. I want you to see right there the computer screen. The computer screen is telling me what all of my tensions are set at. It's telling me what my stitch width and my differential feet are at. It shows me a color picture of what the stitch is. It is just so wonderful and so easy to use. And one of the things that I was thinking about when I thought about today, I thought it would be really fun to show you how you could literally make a scarf in minutes. So what I did, actually Denise did this. She was very nice to me this morning and she cut me a piece of fabric. We cut a 12-inch strip of fabric. This turns out to be a 50-some inch wide fabric. So it's long enough for a scarf. And I'm not terribly tall, so I don't need a really long scarf. If you want a longer scarf, you might want to cut it the other way. But I thought this would be really pretty as a scarf. And what I wanted to show you is if you have a serger or if you have a cover stitch machine, one of the things that you could do is, maybe you haven't thought about this, I know as I've gotten older, I've really started enjoying wearing scarves quite a bit. And I think it's going to make a huge renaissance coming up here, people wearing scarves. And this is a great way to add beautiful color to your wardrobe and change up things really nicely. And it's inexpensive because all you have to do is buy a 3rd yard strip of fabric, and you sew it together. There you have a gift, or you have a scarf for yourself. And I am kind of guessing that you probably have some amazing fabric in your stash that you haven't used yet. Maybe this would be a solution to using some of that and getting some enjoyment out of it. So we're going to do this on the L890, but I don't want to forget our 850 over here. The 850 is the serger only. Both of these machines are so easy to thread. If you go on our YouTube channel, you can watch me threading them. They're just so easy to thread. There is nothing to it. You can do it in any order. I can sit and talk to somebody and hardly even pay attention to what I'm doing and get this thing threaded in moments. It's really fun. But I was going to show you, I've got this set up right now to do what's called a combo stitch. So what it's going to do is it's going to go ahead and stitch for me a chain stitch and an overlocker stitch. So let's go ahead and see what happens here. And I'm going to just go along here and look at this right here. This is a guide. And most seams are set up at 5/8 inches. Well, what's very nice about this machine is if you put the guide right at the edge of where the metal is right there, it is a perfect 5/8 inches. So I can trim and sew at the same time. And what I did with this a little bit different than maybe, I didn't change any of my settings. And I want you to see, look how beautiful that stitch is. I don't know if we can get that. It's maybe I need to put my hand behind it a little bit so you can see it. Those stitches are just perfect. I didn't change any of my settings. This is what the machine came up with. But what I did do is I set my pressure down on my fabric at a 2 instead of a 4. 4 is the normal, but the 4 would have actually made my fabric ripple a little bit because this is really thin. Remember, it's a scarf. And so what I'm doing with this is I'm just going along and sewing, trimming. See how it's trimming off my fabric for me. And here we go. Oh my goodness. All right, so there, and now, because I made this 12 inches long, I can turn this inside out in seconds. It's just really simple. I am going to trim off one little area right here just so that it looks a little bit nicer when I turn this inside out for you. But I was thinking about this yesterday, which fabric I was going to use, and I thought this one was really fun. And see how easy it is to turn that inside out. This is a cotton voile. So it's 100% cotton, so I'm going to be able to wash it. But it's also really thin and nice to use. And it's got some great colors on it. It's got some purples and some pinks. Look how pretty that is. On this side, it's got some pretty reds and oranges. So I can take and just decide how I'm going to wear this. I can roll this so that my oranges, and look at this. I have a scarf. Isn't that cool? And I did that in minutes. Think about all the gifts you could give this year, and you could go out and buy all the pretty fabrics you see. As long as they're thin, this works really well for thin fabrics. I wouldn't recommend it for something really thick, but this works really well. And I mean, look how fast I could do that. This machine just makes me happy. Everything I do on it seems to turn out perfectly and I don't have to fight with it. I love that. It is a little bit pricey for some people thinking about a cover stitch serger. They think this might be pricey, but you know something, it's not. Because I'm going to be able to make so many things on this and be able to have clothes that I pick the colors and I pick the designs and scarves and presents. This is going to pay for itself in no time, but wanted to remind you that if you contact us, we are offering an in-house special on these machines. We're giving a discount. We will take your trade-in, so that'll give you an additional discount. The other thing you need to remember is that Bernina offers a wonderful credit card, and that credit card, what it does is it sets up oh, there it is. That's what I was looking for. You can set up 48 months, same as cash. Look at the payment for that. And that's at full price. And if we give you a discount, it's going to be less than that. It's so reasonable. You could have this paid off in no time. And I'm telling you, it's going to make you the queen of presents. And you are just going to love it. Or the king. I don't want to disclude, we have some lovely male clients right now who are coming in all the time to buy fabric, and I don't want you guys to think I'm disqualifying you. But anyone who owns one of these, they're going to be able to do so many fun things with it, and you're just going to really love it. And remember, free classes. And there are feet that go with this. You can get elasticizer foot for this. There is a gathering foot. There is a beading foot. There's a cording foot. There is a piping foot. There's 2 piping feet. So if you've already bought your L890, I want to remind you, you want to only purchase the C feet. If you own instead the L850, which is the serger only, you're going to be looking at the L feet. Don't get them mixed up. I had someone come in the other day and I knew what machine she had, and she had the wrong feet. So we got her straightened out. We got her with the right feet that she needed, and we talked about the kind of sewing she did and made sure she got feet that were going to be really useful for her. She's having so much fun with this machine. I haven't talked to anybody who hasn't just absolutely raved about it. It is a lot of fun, and it works just really simply and well. and you're not going to have a bunch of fighting with it. Have a wonderful day, everybody. We're going to sign off at this point. Remember, you can call us or email us. Emails go to info@universityofsewing.com. Our phone number is 812-323-2665. And you can always come in and see us. We're here until 6 today. Tomorrow we're here from 10 until 5. And if you want to come in and see how this machine works, I'm happy to show it to you. You're going to have a lot of fun with it. I'm sure of it. And I think that's going to be it for Friday's Facebook Live. And have a great day, everybody.